Now, when designing the ice cream, Jetour definitely had the intent of making it look as cute as possible. It has this dopey looking face which makes you want to give it a pat on the head.
Cuteness overload. The Jetour Ice Cream may be the cutest car that I've ever driven. Oh, and it's also an EV that sells for 600,000 pesos and has a range of 170 kilometers. Is it worth the money? Let's find out. The car is, needless to say, adorable. But some have told me that it looks like it's a car for little girls because it's so small and cute. So I wondered, what if a tito like me drove a car like this every day? Over the week that I had the car, I took it to the gym, I picked up my friend's kid from school, I went on grocery runs, and so far, nobody has mistaken me for a little girl.
Now, in this image-driven society, a lot of men would probably feel insecure being seen in a small, cute car, especially one in pink. But for men who feel secure about their masculinity, I think this is a pretty cool car to drive. It gets a lot of attention, and people might even think that you're cute by association. Now, when designing the ice cream, Jetour definitely had the intent of making it look as cute as possible. It has this dopey looking face which makes you want to give it a pat on the head.
The ice cream has a very literal interpretation of the classic two-box shape. If a Toyota BB had a BB, this is what it would look like. Like the Toyota BB, it's very boxy and it's also quite low. It only has 120 millimeters of ground clearance. It has a square-shaped cross-section, which is the ideal shape for maximizing interior space.
It's a pretty small car in terms of length and width, but in terms of height, it's actually taller than the Wigo.
When it comes to size, the video does not deceive you in any way. The Jetour Ice Cream is as tiny as it looks. To give you a better idea of its size, it's about 30 inches shorter and 6.5 inches narrower than the Toyota Wigo. But it's not short when it comes to height. It's actually 122 millimeters or 4.8 inches taller than the Wigo.
You have these tiny 12-inch wheels. They're steelies with plastic hubcaps. The side mirrors are manual folding, and they're also manually adjustable. Unlike the Wigo though, this is not mounted on a ball joint, so it's easier to adjust. We have these LED DRLs over here and these halogen headlamps. Over here is the Jetour logo, and behind the Jetour logo is actually your charging port, which you access like so. This has a GBT charging port.
Like cell phones, EVs also come with different types of charging ports. The ice cream comes with a GBT charging port, which is the standard in China. If you want to charge at SM or at Ayala malls, you'll need an adapter, which is not that expensive. The ice cream does not support DC charging, so you can't use the quick chargers at Shell and Unioil. But Shell does have Type 2 AC charging, which you can still use. It's just quick charging that's not supported. If you want to charge at home, the ice cream comes with a charger that you can plug on any home outlet.
Now, to keep things light, a lot of these panels are made of composite material. And surprisingly, the Jetour Ice Cream is rear-wheel drive. It has a solid rear axle at the back and a McPherson setup at the front. Under the hood is the ice cream has a pretty small and lightweight hood, and underneath you'll find your fluids. So you have your brake fluid reservoir over here and your wiper fluid reservoir.
You won't find the electric motor underneath the hood or anywhere at the front of the car. It's actually mounted right next to the rear axle. The Jetour Ice Cream is powered by an electric motor that puts out 27 horsepower and 85 Newton meters of torque. Now, those numbers may not seem very high, but it's a very small and very light car. It's also electric, so you get pretty good torque delivery.
Okay, so we're now inside the Jetour Ice Cream. I think this interior totally matches the exterior of the car. It looks young, it looks playful. The colors are matched to the exterior. Like the car is pink and you get these pink accents on the dashboard. The seats have pink accents and pink stitching over here. You get pink accents on the aircon controls and also on your rotary shifter. Yeah, now everything is made of hard plastic. Like this is hard plastic. And the plastics have a toy-like quality. Like they're the kind of plastics that you would expect from a child's toy. And on most cars, that's a negative thing, but on the ice cream, I think it totally works. It gives the interior a toy-like quality, which matches the exterior of the car. The seats are covered in fabric. Like I said, they have pink stitching and pink accents. They're both manually adjustable. And even though it's a really small car, they didn't downsize the seats. They're normal-sized seats with normal width. They have decent support. They're actually quite comfortable. The steering wheel is made of polyurethane. You have buttons here for your audio controls. Now you don't get a dedicated infotainment screen here. You don't even get a dedicated one-din radio. Everything is on the instrument cluster. So you get to view your radio settings there, your Bluetooth settings, and you control everything through these buttons over here. Now this comes with a reverse camera, and the reverse camera can be viewed through the instrument cluster as well. Now you may not have a dedicated infotainment screen, but you do get this place here where you can put your phone, and it fits my ginormous S23 Ultra. So it looks like you have an infotainment screen, and if you don't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, that's the perfect place to put your phone. It's just below your line of sight, so you can view Waze without having to look down so much. You have one USB-A port over here. You get single zone climate control, and thankfully you get physical knobs. You don't get a push start button. You have to put the key in the ignition and turn it to turn the car on. You get a manual handbrake, and your shifter is over here. Now your window controls are not on the door cards as you would expect. They're actually over here next to the rotary shifter. Yeah, I like how the pedals have plus and minus signs on them, in case you forget which one is the brake pedal and the gas pedal. Now you don't get a traditional glove box, but you have these pockets over here for storing small items and documents. You also have one over here, and you have plenty of storage on the door cards. Now speaking of the doors, they're quite long and they're also quite heavy. You wouldn't expect that sound from a car that's this small. Now since it's a two-door and your doors are so long, your seat belts are way back here, and they can be tricky to reach if you're not very flexible.
The ice cream is a two-door car, so you'll have to access the second row seats through the front door. Now I'm 5'8", and let's see if I'll fit. Let's just move this. Okay, so let's see. You know what? It's actually not bad. At least not as bad as I was expecting. Yeah, it's actually usable space for a person of my size. I have a bit of knee room over here. Headroom is actually quite a lot. I have about 2 inches of headroom. The seats are at a comfortable rake. They're not completely upright. Yeah, of course you don't get a center armrest. That's expected. You don't even get side armrest. You don't even get side armrests over here. But it's not a bad place to be.
Now this has a manual liftgate, and you don't get any buttons on the outside for opening it. To open it, you'll either need the key fob or you'll need to press a button on the dashboard. Now space back here is very limited with the second row seats up. So with the second row seats up, you don't have a lot of space here. I just have enough space for my backpack and my tripod.
If you need to load more than one small backpack, you'll have to fold the second row seats. With the second row seats folded, space is very much usable. You even have enough space here to fit our sponsor for today. Introducing the AutoSport Mobility Scooter, the world's most innovative mobility scooter. It folds into a small suitcase size and it has wheels so you can move it around like a trolley. It separates into two parts. It has leather seats and grips, an illuminated LCD dashboard, enhanced lighting for extra visibility. You can install optional armrests. It's perfect for seniors as it's easy to lift and unfolds in seconds. It has a maximum speed of 10 kph, shock absorbing flat free tires, high ground clearance, advanced braking system. Be free to travel anywhere, land, sea or air. It has 20 kilometers of continuous driving range. Engineered with flair, designed with passion for performance. Be active, be free, be yourself. AutoSport, moving life. Now, most people think otherwise, but there are actually a lot of charging stations in Metro Manila. Most major SM malls like SM North, Mega Mall, SM Aura, and SM MOA have charging stations. Most major Ayala malls like Trinoma also have charging stations. And those are all free to use. So if you live near such a mall, you can get a lot of free charging hours. So this right here is SM North EDSA parking, and we're gonna charge the car here. So the car has a GBT charging port, and you're gonna need one of these adapters if you're gonna charge it at SM North. So charging at SM North is free. And you'll find that a lot of major SM and Ayala malls also have free EV charging. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Put this through. Female adapter. There we go. It is now charging. We're currently at 53%. We're gonna go and have coffee for an hour, and let's see where an hour will get us. Okay, so it's now 3:56. It's been an hour and a half since we charged the car, and we're now at 74%. So that's about 20% in an hour and a half. The ice cream has a pretty small 13.9 kilowatt hour battery. For comparison, the Nissan Leaf has 40 kilowatt hours, and the Kia EV6 has a 77 kilowatt hour battery. Now, that tiny battery can power the ice cream for about 170 kilometers. Since you don't have DC charging time can take a while. From my own tests, it can do 22% in about 1.5 hours. Now that's not going to be a problem if you can charge at home. You can just charge it overnight. But if you live in a condo and you can't charge at home, you'll have to spend a couple of hours at malls to charge the car. So that's something that you'll have to take into consideration. Now, if you charge at home, Meralco charges 7.5 pesos per kilowatt hour. So a full charge from 0 to 100% should cost you about 104 pesos, which is not bad at all for 170 kilometers of range. Okay, so this is our first time driving the Jetour Ice Cream on public roads. And let's see, let's do a little acceleration run over here. It's about half throttle, and it's not so bad.
Now, the horsepower figures may not be that impressive, but it's a tiny car and it's also electric, so the torque comes in a lot earlier. It's also an attention magnet. I mean, I can't look to my side, but I'm pretty sure the guy to my right is looking at me. This feels like bringing a Chihuahua to a park. You get a lot of attention. People find you cute. And it feels like a real car. It doesn't feel like you're driving an e-bike on 4 wheels. The sound insulation is there. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's there. You feel like you're somewhat insulated from outside noise. Oh, there's no traffic right now. Amazing. The ride seems to be a bit stiff. But at this price, I don't think you can complain about a lot of things. You just take what you're given, and this, I think, is pretty good for the price. Considering that the car does not have any tent on it, the air conditioning is surprisingly good.
The Jetour Ice Cream is actually quite a bit of fun to drive. It's small, it's light, it has a short wheelbase, it feels very nimble. It's also rear wheel drive, so you can feel a bit of power oversteer if you apply some gas in the corners.
Okay, so we're about to enter NLEX, and let's see what it's like to drive this car at higher speeds. We'll try to reach 100 kph. Let's see what it's like. We have 66 kilometers of range, man. Phew. Let's hope that we make it back under our own power. 59 kph, 62, 64. Yeah, dude, NVH is amazing. Slash sarcasm. It doesn't feel like the car is struggling at all. So that's about 85 kph, and it feels fine. Nothing's vibrating. Okay, I'm doing 90 kph now.
In 1 kilometer, turn right.
And we're doing 100 kph.
At 100 kph, the car is surprisingly quiet. At least it's more quiet than subcompact ICE vehicles like the Brio. Wind noise and tire noise are acceptable. There is no engine noise. What you hear is a whine that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. I spent about a week and a couple of days with the ice cream. It's totally usable for city use, with occasional trips to Tagaytay or Cavite. It feels more quiet than subcompact hatches like the Wigo and the Brio. The ride is stiff but tolerable. It's a unique driving experience, partly because of its size, partly because it's electric, and partly because of its looks. The Jetour Ice Cream is an excellent car to have as long as you're aware of what it can do and what its limitations are. Because it only has 170 kilometers of range, if you want to go somewhere outside of Manila, you have to plan your route so that you have charging stations along the way. Also, because it doesn't have DC charging, you'll have to set aside a couple of hours for charging. You have to be able to charge at home or at the office if you don't like spending a couple of hours every couple of days charging at malls. And as such, it's ideal as a second car for city use. If you want to go to Baguio or somewhere far away, it's probably best to have another EV with a longer range or an ICE car to go along with your ice cream. For 699,000 pesos, it's one of the most affordable EVs that you can buy. It has 8 years of warranty, it's a head turner, it's highly economical to run, it's also number coding exempted. There are plenty of perks to owning the car, as long as you can make it fit your lifestyle.